Hi friends, we are here today in beautiful sunny Carlsbad to visit LEGOLAND California. LEGOLAND California was built in 1999 as the third LEGOLAND park, the first outside of Europe and the very first in the United States. Today it has 4 roller coasters and we are so excited to be here to ride them.
This is going to be the very first Legoland that I've ever visited anywhere in the world, so I'm excited to see what it's all about. It's kind of like a family park, right? So it's never really been on my radar as a place to come, but they've just opened a new coaster, the Galacticoaster. Plus, I really want to see the Miniland because you may not know this about me, but I am a miniature artist. If I can plug myself for a second, small scale LA. I make miniatures of famous places around Los Angeles, and it's kind of in the same realm as mini Lego bricks, so excited to see that.
So we've come here today both for creative inspiration and to get some credits. And I have been here once before, but it was many years ago, and I've since had the opportunity to visit 4 other Legolands around the world. So I'm so excited to be back here to see how it compares, and of course, ride the brand new Galacticoaster. Lots of people are touting it as the best roller coaster at any Legoland park, so I'm pretty excited to check it out.
So far today, the vibes are excellent. Obviously, Lego is so bright and colorful, so it puts you in a good mood once you arrive. And also at the front of the park here, there are 2 hotels that you have to walk through to get to the entrance, both of which are really cool. One is themed to a castle, and the other is themed to, I think, just like general Lego, but both really well done.
All right, well, we've got a fun day ahead, 4 coasters to ride. Let's get in there and ride them.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. If you watched our last video, you know that one of the suggestions that we had for Six Flags Magic Mountain is that when you walk in the front entrance, they should show us a weenie. Well, Legoland has one as soon as we walk in. Okay, that was a bad joke, but here's the real Legoland California weenie.
Okay, so naturally our first stop of the day is going to be Galacticoaster because Daniel has a theory that if there is a new coaster in the park, you have to ride it immediately. Right, Daniel?
Well, my theory is actually, if there's something you really want to do it right away, because you never know if it's going to break down and then you won't get to ride it. And the whole reason that we're here is for Galacticoaster, so might as well go ride Galacticoaster. Well, we just came over here to film some B-roll of the Unikitty's disco drop ride, but I just noticed right behind it is the Galacticoaster show building. So we're gonna be headed right inside there in just a moment. Looks pretty decent sized. Joining us today are our good friends Nick and Ariana, who actually grew up a few miles down the street in Oceanside. So you guys have been here before, right?
Yeah, I was here all childhood growing up for summers. I went to like kindergarten, preschool, all that stuff down in San Diego. So my mom would take us here every week and we'd hang out at the park, do the driving school, which is no longer here. But yeah, this is like the first time I've been back at the park with this much change. So it's kind of a new place for me.
And how about you, Ariana?
Same story. Came here like every summer growing up. Had a year pass. So we come here pretty often.
Yeah, I love that. I love doing a park with people who grew up with the park. So when we're walking around today, you guys can tell us like, oh, this is what's changed and I like it or I don't like it. Hopefully it's more of the former.
Yeah.
And fun fact, Nick and I actually used to work together multiple summers at Cedar Point over 10 years ago.
Yeah, 2014, it's crazy.
Wow, time flies and our golden years have left us far, far behind. But Nick and I have actually traveled around the world to ride roller coasters, so he is pretty in touch with the theme park industry. I'm really excited to get your guys' thoughts today.
Yeah, should have fun.
Obviously, this is my first time to Legoland, so I don't know what's new and what's not, but is this whole area new?
I believe the entire area is new, which is interesting because the Galacticoasters were built at both Legoland California and Legoland Florida. I'm pretty sure Legoland Florida only received the coaster itself, but Legoland California received this entire galaxy-themed land.
Wow.
So, pretty impressive.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I love right here at the entrance to the land is this fun flat ride that really brings some kinetic energy to the area as soon as you walk in. Honestly, looks like a good time. Maybe we should get on that.
You know how I feel about spinning rides.
I think we'll do it. All right, we have made it here to Galacticoaster, which is one of my favorite kind of roller coasters, a coaster in a box. Beyond that, I really don't know too much about this. It was manufactured by Art Engineering, who's relatively new to the game. They did play a hand in bringing to life a couple of the roller coasters at Lagoon in Utah that I've ridden, Cannibal and Bumbora, I think it's called. And then I've ridden 2 other Art Engineering coasters, but teensy tiny coasters at Europa Park, and then the Duplo coaster at Legoland Windsor. So I'm excited to see what they can do on a larger scale. Beyond that, I do know that it is a multi-launch coaster in the dark, with the fastest launch being around 40 miles per hour. So I'm excited to get in there and see what happens in the box.
Okay, so as we entered the line, we were just handed this little wristband here, and it is because we are going to be building the ship that we're going to be riding. And I believe we're going to do something here. Maybe not. Not yet. Too early.
Dipper here, Chief Engineer. Come in, cadets. Do you read me? Your task is to customize my basic design and then ride it into space, okay? First, pick the coolest nose design for your space.
Pick a nose, you got 20 seconds. Ariana is a fashion designer, so we're gonna rely on her to build the coolest spaceship possible. And she's chosen a pirate spaceship. Yay, we did it. And look at this gorgeous creation.
Back to the loading bay so you can go for launch.
Did it?
Step away, don't delay.
Did it work?
Remember, cadets, you need to stay in your teams.
Still says tap your key.
Save spaceport. Good luck, cadets.
Uh-oh.
Biff Dipper, over and out.
Well,
Wow, right in front of Biff Dipper too.
hopefully it worked.
Okay, I'm not confident, but
Well, I must say, if we do not get to ride on our pirate, burger, dragon, rocket spaceship, I'm gonna be pretty sad. Okay, so a few things to note here. First of all, the trains are front loading, really similar to Forbidden Journey, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey at Universal Studios. I can see here that the trains are sets of 2 cars per train, and I'm guessing what will happen is once you get in there, they'll turn forward. This is a fun new trend. Again, started by Forbidden Journey, but Fly at Phantasialand loads this way. And then this is really similar, I haven't ridden it, but I know that this is really similar to Primordial at Lagoon, which Art Engineering also had a hand in building that. So yeah, this makes me really excited. There's a continuous moving platform, which is good for capacity. We've been moving this whole time that we've been in line. So even though there's only 8 passengers per train, it looks like they've got a pretty good handle on capacity. Exciting.
Welcome back! You saved Spaceport!
All right, we just got off our first ride on Galacticoaster. Kieran, what do you think?
that is a really solid family coaster. A lot of fun. It has a nice little launch. Is it a launch or is it an acceleration?
A boost.
Yeah, it's a boost. But my main takeaway is that is basically Cosmic Rewind Mini. Like down to even the LED screens, the long LED screens that you kind of whiz by. But yeah, really, really good. There's a few fun pops of airtime through as the tracks cross over one another. You go up and down and you get a little pop, and yeah, fun times.
Yeah, I would very much like to go back and examine the timeline of when Cosmic Rewind opened and then this either entered development or was announced, because I can't help but to think that some Legoland creative executives went to Epcot, rode Cosmic Rewind, and thought, we need a small version of that.
If not, huge coincidence.
But yes, I agree with Kieran. Such a fun family coaster. I do have to say, I'm not sure if my fact I shared earlier about this being a 40-mile-per-hour launch was accurate, because what we just rode definitely did not feel like a 40-mile-per-hour launch.
Did not.
Especially knowing that the backlot stunt coasters at some of the Cedar Fair parks have a 40-mile-per-hour launch, because those essentially throw you into a helix that causes you to black out. This, as Kieran said, feels like a fun but relatively mild boost forward. The first half is quite calm, relaxing, but has some really cute Lego space theming. And then again, you get a second, I'd say even slighter boost into the second half.
Wait, there's a second acceleration? I didn't even notice. Well, I don't remember it at least. Maybe that's telling.
There are definitely two launches. They're very, very family friendly.
Yeah.
The kids are going to love it for sure. But the second half I definitely thought was more exciting than the first. If memory serves me correctly, I believe that you stay faced forward during the first half, and then the second half you initiate
Start
the
twisting to the
controlled
side.
spinning.
Yeah.
And so you take one of those drops oriented, I don't want to say backward or to the side, but definitely not forward.
Yeah, I think
And
it's backwards.
Oh, yeah, but it definitely has a fun butterfly in the stomach feeling.
Definitely.
So that was that largest drop shortly after the second lift is definitely, the second launch is definitely my favorite moment on the ride. Then there's a low to the ground helix before you enter what I would consider the Space Mountain brake run. All that to say is that Merlin was clearly very, very inspired by Disney for this edition. Also, it is a super smooth ride. The trains in general are very comfortable. As soon as you leave that station platform, you do stay on your side. I assumed that you turn forward right away, but you go into this area where there's a screen in front of you, and it shows you the spaceship that you put together. We did get to ride on our pirate burger dragon rocket spaceship, which was pretty fun.
They might need to improve the user interface to let you know that it's connected, because we were not convinced that we were going to get our ship, but we got the ship.
In the end, it was a nice surprise, so it worked out in our favor.
So, I talked before about how I thought this was a good replacement to what was there before it, but that's kind of a caveat for that, because I loved what was over here. It was the Lego driving school where you could drive a little Lego car. You would get a little license at the end if you passed by stopping at all the lights. Everything was super fun for kids. I did it every time I came here. But they had a lot of space for it, to the point where they couldn't even keep the whole course open because it was just too much to have eyes all over the place with bushes and stuff in between. So they repurposed it. So now you have this whole structure is where the old driving course used to be. And then the new driving course, because if they got rid of it, I'd be very unhappy, is now just over here where they have this horrendous fire truck attraction where you'd like race the other families. But it's mostly just like,
the fire truck attraction is the most fun part of any Legoland. What are you talking about?
No, it's literally just doing this.
Oh my gosh, you get a good workout in, you scream at all the children who are trying to beat you, and you like use the hose
it's
and
not
try
a
to
good
get the
game.
water
It's not a
in
good
there.
game. It's not a good ride. It's not a good competition. It's just a bunch of mediocre things smashed together.
Oh my.
These are both way better. These are the better things.
Some people just weren't built for competition.
Okay, so now we're on the hunt for something that Ariana has been talking up since we got to the park, which I believe is like apple fries or something?
Granny's apple fries.
Granny's apple fries. So that is our next stop because we were all getting a little bit hangry.
So again, a fun discovery as we were just filming some B-roll. I noticed earlier this morning that our tickets are hopper tickets, and I thought that's weird because isn't there only Legoland California here? But now I see there's a Legoland water park right on the other side of this hedge. Not sure what all is over there, but first impression is it looks pretty cute.
I am getting a little glimpse of the Miniland down there, and I'm trying not to look because no spoilers, but I'm very excited to see that.
And in general, have to say that the landscaping all over the park looks really amazing. It is lush here.
Yeah, like, I mean, just look at this area right here.
I absolutely love a water feature, and it's so fun that this water feature is like a stream that is attached to this ride building. So it's technically theming, but also just in general adds to the atmosphere of the park.
Okay, we have made it to Granny's apple fries.
And Ariana must have been onto something. Clearly the apple fries must be pretty darn good because this is the longest line in the park.
They're so good.
Nick is not a fan of hot fruit, so he has opted for churros, and compared to Disneyland, like you get 2 of these for what, like $8?
So yeah, pretty good. Chocolate sauce comes with it.
Pretty good deal.
Well, we have successfully acquired our Granny Smith apple fries and what might just be the best looking cup of whipped cream I've ever seen in my life. But I can't help but to pause and just take some time to appreciate how gorgeous this park is. We were just talking about loving water features. Look at that waterfall over there. That is awesome. I was not expecting to come into the park today and just be wowed by how beautiful the landscaping is, but I'm really blown away. I love it.
Okay, let's try it. Gotta get some cream, of course. Okay.
How is it?
I can see why Ariana wanted to go and get these. They're cinnamony, they're sugary, they have their little bit of tartness from the green apple. Very, very good.
All right, Ariana, I see that you've dug in here.
A little bit.
Have they lived up to your expectations today?
Every time.
Okay, as we've rounded the corner, I can see a little bit more of the water park here. We've got a kids splash play area. Behind that, I see a Shoot the Chutes ride, which is kind of a fun feature to have in a water park. And then over here, it looks like there was a splash battle. I'm not sure if it is currently closed for construction or if they've just fenced off this area because it's now permanently part of the water park. Maybe I just don't purchase a lot of beverages at theme parks anymore, or I guess at Six Flags we have the season refill. But this fountain drink was $7.21, so budget accordingly to stay hydrated.
So we're about to do round 2 on Galacticoaster. The first time we went through the fast track. This time we are going through the standby line so we can see the animatronic that's in there.
Ariana, can you please stop wreaking havoc on the theming for Galacticoaster?
Oh no.
Look what you did.
My bad.
I do want to clarify that we did not have anything to do with tearing the theming in the queue, but hopefully that can be fixed soon. Pre-show.
Your grouping will be starting shortly. That's it. Keep it moving.
Which Disney attraction is this inspired by?
Buzz Lightyear.
Because as soon as the separators come for you, it's time to go, go, go. Before they can separate you, too.
You might be building all your crewmates yet, but let's dive into building together.
Okay, so I'm glad glad that we saw that, because at the end of the coaster, they were like, "Yay, you did it!" And I was like, "Did what?" So we got a little more of the story.
So if this was a 60-minute wait, would you say the pre-show is worth it?
No. Well, unfortunately, they are dumping the queue. There is technical difficulties with the ride, I suppose. So it's not going to be our day today, but maybe we will get a chance to ride it a bit later on.
Fingers crossed. I mean, at least we got to see the pre-show with the animatronic, which was really cool. Glad that we got to have that experience, but I definitely would like to ride this a second time. So keeping our fingers crossed we can come back for the last ride of the day. Fingers crossed. Thank you. We're here on the River Quest Adventure, going on a nice little boat river adventure featuring some Lego dinosaurs. Hopefully there's a crazy drop at the end and a giant Tyrannosaurus / Indominus Rex fight, just like Jurassic World River Adventure at Universal. You think that might happen?
I'd say probably unlikely.
But I actually just saw that it's called the Explorer River Quest. So there's that.
Not our dino. Secret dinosaur cave. Proceed with caution. Ooh. Not gonna lie, was expecting a little more in the secret dinosaur cave.
What? They're cute little dinosaur eggs. Nothing bad ever happens with cute little dinosaur eggs. Oh no!
That's actually quite impressive. That is a big Lego dinosaur that moves.
I think we were ill-timed for it to pop out for us. All right, I think we survived the scary T-Rex encounter. What'd you think?
Really good. I think all theme parks need more rides like this. Just like little, gentle, fun, family riverboat rides. It's a really good addition. It's nice to have outdoor stuff like this, especially in Southern California. Yeah, great. I would do this every time I come.
Legoland Florida was built, well, actually it took over an existing park in an actual botanical garden. So you would think that they would have the huge leg up when it comes to foliage and whatnot, but look at this. How awesome is this tree? All right, next we are headed to the smallest credit in the park, but every credit counts. It's Coastersaurus, which is a Gerstlauer family coaster. I remember doing this and thinking that it was more fun than it looked, so
yeah.
Hopefully you agree.
I mean, it doesn't really look like much to look at in terms of the coaster itself, but what is really impressive is the setting. So many plants, it feels like you're going through a jungle, a dinosaur-infested jungle, so it looks pretty cool. Okay, Daniel, what did you think of Coastersaurus? Great name, by the way.
Well, just as I remembered, I thought that was really fun. That first drop is only probably 15 feet tall, but it's really got some bite to it. At the bottom, I mean, it's a curved drop and it dives into a quick helix and you really get thrown to the side. I love some laterals on a kiddie coaster, so I think for a ride that you only have to be 36 inches tall to do, this is great for the park. A great first coaster for any kid. I'd love to bring my nephews on this. How about you?
Yeah, and I love how everybody chants one more time. It sounds like a thing because it's so short, it goes twice.
Yes.
But everybody always chants one more time. Pretty fun.
Now, I will say that where Legoland Florida has a leg up on this is that their Coastersaurus is a custom wooden coaster with Millennium Flyer GCI trains. So that probably does get the edge, but still, great coaster for this park.
So one of the attractions we are skipping today, because we are not looking for an arm workout, is Ninjago. Now, if you're familiar with web slingers at California Adventure, it's the same sort of thing where there's a lot of this going on. A little bit too much for today. So we are skipping it, but one interesting thing to note, talking about web slingers, as this opened in 2016 and web slingers opened in 2021.
So kind of funny that all day long we've been talking about how the Merlin/Legoland executives have been inspired by things Disney were doing, but then we get here and obviously it looks like Disney was inspired by Legoland.
The cast members here, or the staff, the team members, whatever they're called, very friendly, and we got this cool gold coin. One of the security cast members came up to us standing outside and asked if we wanted this fun coin. All right, it's time for my most anticipated area of the park, Miniland. And here it is before us, and wow, already incredible.
Gorgeous. One thing I love is how realistic the colors are. You know, we were talking about earlier how Lego is so bright and vibrant, but here in Miniland, the palettes are just a little more muted to make everything that much more realistic, and it really sells the illusion. I love it.
Definitely, it makes me want to go Godzilla.
Okay, let's not do that. Kieran's not allowed back in Legoland.
So do I have it right that every Legoland around the world has a different area depending on which part of the country or which country it's in?
Yeah, exactly. So here we are at Legoland California, and so we have San Diego here, Los Angeles over there, Las Vegas here, and I see New York, you know, representative of the United States, which the representation of all of it is amazing. I can't wait to see the rest.
I can see Vegas over there in the distance and it looks awesome. I can't wait to get over there.
So fun.
So here they have a Lego version of the Mirage Casino, but they are onto it because it is about to turn into the Hard Rock. So they've already renamed it the Hard Block. Pretty clever. Anytime I'm driving to Vegas, I love to stop at Peggy Sue's 50s Diner. It's super cool to see it represented here. I love that injury attorney signs are so iconic that they're even featured here.
That's America, baby.
Here in the LA section, they've decided to include SoFi Stadium, which is kind of an interesting choice, but more of an understandable choice is the iconic Randy's Donuts. Wow, but SoFi Stadium has an interior as well.
Love is love. You go, Legoland.
Okay, so next time we come to Legoland, Daniel, you can just drop me off in Miniland and pick me up at the end of the day. I could have spent so much longer there, but alas, we have more coasters to ride.
Indeed, it does feel like an attraction literally built for you. So I'm glad you got to see it, but hey, as we like to say, we love to leave a reason to come back. So more time in Miniland, absolutely a reason to return. Okay, we are now headed to ride what I would consider the most iconic attraction at every Legoland, which is Dragon, the part dark ride, part roller coaster. So interestingly, every one of the 5 Legolands that I've been to has had a different version of the Dragon coaster. They all start with a dark ride portion inside the castle through this fun medieval land. Oops, Kieran, I might be spoiling too much for you. But then they transition into some kind of traditional roller coaster ride. I remember really enjoying this version of the Dragon. It's a Vekoma custom family coaster. So hopefully it's just as great as I remember, and I'm really excited to see what Kieran thinks of it. We just survived the fury of the dragon. What do you think, Kieran?
Amazing. I love a ride with a dark section, and this is probably the best dark ride section I've ever been on a roller coaster. Like that little dark ride section could easily like stand alone, maybe if it was lengthened, but it could stand alone as its own dark ride. And then the roller coaster element of it is pretty good as well. Some pretty strong forces. You pick up a decent amount of speed going down those drops. My only thing though is that I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between the two sections. So the dark ride section is good, but then once you see the dragon, you kind of then just enter the lift hill. And I feel like what needs to happen is you see the dragon and then you like punch out of there or something, you know? Otherwise it's just like, there's the dragon, and now clack, 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 up that lift hill.
Pretty sure on both the dragons in Shanghai and Windsor, maybe, that you do drop down at the end of the dark ride portion, like zooming under the dragon and then up into the lift hill.
Yeah, that's what it needs, yeah.
But no, I just think that the Dragon Coaster is, again, such an iconic ride. I am also a huge fan of both dark rides and coasters, so combining the two experiences into one, mwah, I love it. I mean, you know, obviously I would love if the main coaster here was a big thrill ride, but I realize I'm not the target audience.
Yeah,
so
it's for kids, Daniel.
it is a family junior Vekoma coaster, and I'll be happy with it. So interestingly, in my travels to Legolands around the world, I found that different Legolands in different locations have different versions of similar attractions. So when it comes to this Lost Kingdom adventure, for example, at Legoland Windsor, it's an Omnimover style attraction, like Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters or the Haunted Mansion. But here we have what looks similar to like a Sally Dark Ride shooter. So fun to see those differences. All right, we finally made it to the back corner of the park for our very last credit of the day, Technic Coaster.
Yes, I knew there was going to be a wild mouse here, but I didn't know it was going to be a wild mouse like this. Like, this looks impressive, and that first drop looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty much exactly right. So, Technic Coaster is a mock large park, which means that it is a wild mouse model that is approximately 10% larger than a standard wild mouse. And whereas the standard wild mouse starts with a series of hairpin turns and ends with a series of drops, the large park starts with a 45-foot drop, transitions into a series of hairpin turns in the middle of the layout, and then ends with some more drops. So I do typically find myself enjoying these models a little bit more than the standard wild mouse, but this one looks super well presented, really pretty foliage all around it. Excited to try it out.
Yeah, can't wait to do it.
All right, 4 credits down, we did it. Woo-hoo. Did you have fun?
Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. I really love how cute those little cars are. Just
Definitely.
little 4-person seaters, they're so adorable. But the drop was great. The hairpin turns up the top were, you know, classic wild mouse, but it's a little bit quiet up there, honestly.
It is a little quiet. And you know, funny enough, when we were up there, Ariana, Nick, I'm gonna ask for your thoughts, but Ariana had a fun suggestion.
It used to have audio. It doesn't anymore. So it's just very quiet to me.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize that it, like, at one point had audio, and now it doesn't.
That would help.
That would be great to bring that feature back. Did you enjoy it, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the version of this kind of ride that I've ridden the most in my life because I grew up around this park. I've always thought it was fun. Like, I like that it feels slightly larger. It feels like a more established coaster than a lot of like the wild mouses you ride, which usually kind of just feel like easy add-ins to something, whereas this feels like it's intended to be part of the park, which is fun. That being said, it's exactly what it looks like. You don't get like something crazy different out of it. The drop is great though. For a park that doesn't have any true thrills, it's like a little boost in your morning.
Yeah, I haven't ridden one of these in quite a while because honestly I've been skipping wild mice at the parks that we go to. But I agree with you that a lot of them feel kind of like carnival attractions plop down on some concrete.
Yes.
This really feels like a permanent coaster, purposely built.
Yeah, well-themed.
Well-themed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And totally agree that drop, which is definitely the biggest drop in the park,
Yeah.
right, is way more fun than I remember. So, yeah, overall, good final credit of the day.
Okay, so the park closes in 10 minutes and we are rushing over to Galacticoaster because we just saw that it is back open. So hopefully we're gonna get one last ride of the day on Galacticoaster. Fingers crossed. Okay, with 2 minutes to spare.
We made it back in time. We got our priority pass for when we got kicked out of the line earlier. Here we go.
This is the vehicle that Daniel created. Yes.
I love a slap band. Ow. That didn't really work. Well, as you can see, the doors are closed because the park is closed, but we did get in our second ride on Galacticoaster. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I had a really great time on it. I love the whole room is so covered in stars. Like, it's so dark in there. I think it's really well themed. It's a great ride.
Yeah, definitely. It's that right mix of being dark enough where you can't see the full track layout,
Yeah.
but there are lots of really fun illuminated Lego space theme elements. This time around, since I knew a little bit more of what to expect, I certainly appreciated it more. It is definitely the most forceful ride in the park. With that said, do not come in expecting a forceful coaster. I'll say we rode in the back car for both of our rides.
Yeah, I would have really liked to ride in the front and get a better view of things.
Same, a better view, and I'm sure that the wind in your face during that
True.
first launch gives you a little bit more of an acceleration
Yeah.
effect as well. This time I did notice during the first half of the ride, there's one decent drop, not airtime, but maybe a bit of lift into a pretty forceful low to the ground turn, and then a fun screen that you pass by right before the second launch. And then after that second launch, there are two drops. The first one you take while you're spinning, the second one you take backwards. Those, along with that first launch, are my three favorite parts of the ride. But overall, I really think that this is such a great addition to Legoland. It's definitely something that I'm going to look forward to coming back and riding, and I would absolutely love to bring my nephews here who are the target
Yeah.
market for this kind of
Big time.
experience. Well, Kieran and I were under the impression that this cute little ride behind us here was a new addition to the Galaxy area. But Nick told me there's a little bit of backstory here.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Galaxy area looks really great and all. I like it. The new ride's an awesome inclusion. This is kind of like, this is sloppy to me because this has been here for like as long as I've been to Legoland. These were just originally helicopters that would go up and down, and then Legoland decided to chop the rotors off and say, now it's a spaceship. And like, I just can't see it. It just screams like, you know, cheap substitution to me, but it's fine. I get it. It's serviceable. It's an easy thing to swap over. I don't know. I think they look really goofy.
You know, that's the nostalgia in
Yeah.
you. You just can't let go.
I can't let go of the helicopter-shaped spaceships.
All right, that does it for our day at Legoland California. I thought it was a great day, but I'm most curious to know, how was your first ever day at a Legoland?
My first time at Legoland really blew my expectations out of the water, honestly. Before this, my only experience of a family theme park was Dutch Wonderland. And compared to that, this is just unbelievable. I thought the landscaping here, just the general beauty of the park was really, really well done and well upkept. All the different lands are really like well designated. I think that's one thing that Lego lends itself to, is with all the different IPs. You know, there's like Lego in Egypt, Lego in space, Lego City, Lego Ninjas, like there's everything. And so there's like just a an unbelievable amount of opportunities for theming, and it really works so well. The Dragon Coaster was a real standout for me. I love that dark ride section, and of course the new roller coaster as well. Absolutely fantastic. Just, yeah, if they can keep building more attractions like that, like, Legoland has a bright future, especially with that new Mattel park opening soon. They're really going to have to up their game if they want to, you know, stay competitive. So this is a really good idea of what's going to come in the future.
Yes, I would echo all of those thoughts. Coming into today, the number one thing that I was looking forward to was, of course, Galacticoaster, which I didn't know a ton about, but had some expectations for. It definitely met those expectations for me.
Yeah.
I love the idea of having a miniature Cosmic Rewind here in Southern California. Now, I would love it even more if Disney's California Adventure installed an actual version of Cosmic Rewind, but that's another topic for another day. I had not previously gotten to experience Legoland California's Miniland, and I absolutely love that. I mean, obviously, since I've been here, I've lived in Southern California for a lot longer, so just seeing all of those iconic landmarks in San Diego and Los Angeles,
San
Francisco.
Yeah.
I just really fell in love with it. I will say, with our friends Nick and Ariana here today, it was really fun to receive a local's perspective.
Yeah.
With that said, they did shine some light on a few details that have seemingly been forgotten around the park. For example, there's a cool subway exhibit beneath the New York City in Miniland, but the subway isn't working. And then the marching band isn't playing in front of the US Capitol miniature. And then the Technic Coaster onboard audio isn't working, etc. And I just hope that as Legoland continues to build and expand these great new attractions, that they don't forget the attention to detail, because that's something that people like Kieran and I really, really pay attention to and think that it makes a major impact on the guest experience. So, Legoland, keep up the good work, but, you know,
don't forget the details.
Don't forget the details. Well, thank you guys so much for following us around this really fun day at Legoland California. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, leave us a comment. We will definitely respond. Subscribe to the channel, and we will see you again very soon for lots more fun roller coaster and theme park adventures.
See ya.
Bye. We do have one more adventure awaiting us this evening. We're either gonna have dinner at a restaurant overlooking the ocean, or something even better.